Hello Algebra 2 students, this is lesson 23, and our objective for today is how do you solve systems graphically? So we've already talked about solving systems with substitution or with elimination, and we remember that our answer is like a point in x comma y. That would make both equations true. So what we're doing today is pretty much taking equations and we're going to graph them, which we already have practiced as well, and we're going to see that point where they cross, or the point that's on both lines, and that's going to be our solution. So if you don't remember how to graph lines, you might want to go back and review that lesson, and then we'll see, then come back to this one, and it'll make this lesson a whole lot easier. So let's start off with this first one here. I'm going to graph it in red. Remember that my slope is 2 over 1 and my y-intercept is at 1. So I'm going to graph that y-intercept first. And I'm going to rise up 2 and go over 1. See if I can get some points going on here. I can also go down 2, left 1. And of course in your homework you're going to be using a straight edge. But I don't have one in this program. So you have to deal with my slightly wobbly line. And then I'm going to graph this as second line in blue. And just remember that is actually a line. That is a vertical line where x is equal to -1. So it's going to be going right here. So we just graph those two lines and we're looking for the point that they have in common. Well, I'm looking and I see a point right here where they cross. And that point where they cross is the point where x is -1 and y is -1. Now if you want to check that, just plug those points into each equation. So I'd say -1, is that equal to 2 times -1 plus 1? Is -1 equal to -2 plus 1? Is -1 equal to -1? Yes. So it works for the first equation. And what about the second equation? We just plug in the x number because we don't have a y spot for that in there. So we'd say -1, is that equal to -1? Well, yes it is. It worked for that one as well. So that is in fact the solution to both equations. Let's try another one. I'm looking at this. This one here is not too easy to graph here. Y equals negative, not too hard, not too easy, not too hard to graph. Y equals -3, so I'm going to go and just draw that one on there. The other one, I need to actually solve for y first, so that way I can graph that easily. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add y to both sides. Don't ask why. 2x is equal to y minus 2. Trying to get that y by itself, so I'm going to add 2. And I'll get y is equal to 2x plus 2. I guess it makes sense here, I guess, for me to have done this in red. I'm going to graph this. My y-intercept is at 2. I'm going to go up 2 over 1, because remember my slope is equal to 2 over 1. Positive, so it should be going uphill. Okay, and then as we draw these lines, draw this line, we're looking for the point that they intersect at. Well, it looks like they intersect right here, between -3 and -2, and right where x is at -3. That is, I think, in fact, the points. I'm going to say -2.5, comma, -3. Again, we can check these by saying 2 times x, which is -2.5, minus y, which is -3. Is that equal to -2? Well, that would be -5 plus 3 Is that equal to negative 2? Yeah, negative 2 is equal to negative 2. So that one checks out. And then let's check this other equation. Y, which is negative 3. Don't have a place to put the x. Is that equal to negative 3? Well, yes, in fact it does work out. So this is actually a solution. Excellent. Alright, here's another one. It looks like we're going to have to solve both of these for y first. So let's go ahead and solve this first one here. I'm going to add 3y to both sides. So I'm going to have 2x is equal to 3y minus 6. Add 6. Switching sides here, I'm going to have 3y is equal to 2x plus 6. So notice I just took this over there. And this part over here. Sorry if that confused you, I'm just getting in that y equals form. Divide both sides by 3. So that becomes 1. I get y is equal to 2/3 x plus 2. So let's graph that my y-intercept is at 2. I'm rising up 2 over 3. Up 2 and over 3. Down to left 3. Down to left 3. The other one's going to be off there somewhere. Left 3. Sorry about that. So graphing that is going to look something like that. And then let's solve the other one. I'm just going to subtract x. So I'm going to have y is equal to negative x minus 1. And remember the slope then in this case would be negative 1 over 1. So my y-intercept is at negative 1. I'm going to go down 1, right 1. Up 1, left 1. And then connecting those dots, and of course there's infinitely many of them. We get this. Now, notice it doesn't look like it crosses exactly at a point. It's a little below this negative 1 where it crosses, and it's a little to the right of where this 2 crosses. So we don't know exactly, we can't tell exactly where it is. We can estimate, right? They're going to be negative 1.8 and 0.8 or something like that. Maybe we can estimate that, but we can't tell exactly. So if we need an exact answer on this, which I think some of your homework does say find an exact answer, then we would need to use either elimination or substitution. But this would be a good help because we know approximately what they should be. So we're going to go ahead, I'm just going to run through solving this by elimination real quick. And because you already know how to do that, I'm just going to pause the video, go through and find the exact answer. Shabam! So as you can see there, our answer is negative 9 over 5, which would be negative 1 4/5, which for the x would be negative 1 4/5. So that falls right into that. And then the y is 4/5, which would be not quite 1. So that actually falls in right there with what we had thought. So very good, very good, very good. Alright, your homework is on page 110. You're going to do 1 through 16 all. Then you can do 4 more of your choice. Good luck!